Hello acolytes, welcome to the final Funguary video. Today I'll be going over species 25 through 28. Thank you so much for watching and liking and supporting this series, and as a special surprise treat, I now have stickers of each of the Funguary girls up on Redbubble. So if you'd like to go pick up a sticker of your favorite girl, those are available now through the link in the description. So we're going to be starting off with day 25, the green skinhead. This mushroom grows in small clusters in leaf litter in southeastern Australia. The caps are green, ranging from bright yellow-green to a deep blue-green. The head of this mushroom is smooth to the touch. This mushroom is a species in the family Cortinariaceae, meaning that it has a cortina. We've discussed cortinas on a few other mushrooms in my previous videos. If you'd like to check them out, you can do so now in the iCard up above. But a cortina is a thin, web-like veil that protects the spore-bearing parts of the fruiting body until it fully matures. Then it dissolves, often leaving a slight ring around the stem and allowing the mature fruiting body to spread its spores. Green skinheads are mycorrhizal, which means they have a symbiotic relationship with the plant that they grow on. The mushroom collects nutrients and water that the plant uses, and the plant provides energy in the form of sugar to the fungus. The edibility of this mushroom is unknown, but it's not recommended to consume the green skinhead. Some of its close relatives contain lethal toxins. So obviously the very first notable thing about this mushroom is that it is called a skinhead, so I had to, of course, in the design draw a girl with a very, very close cropped haircut. I think besides her, the girl with the closest cut hair is the magpie ink cap, so she is very much the girl that has the closest shaved head in my collection. I also wanted to get a range of the greens in this illustration. All of the colors, as usual, are picked from my reference photos, so all of these colors come directly from this image. I did also want to acknowledge that the description said that it ranges from a blue-green to a yellow-green, so I tried to incorporate all of those different hues in the final illustration. This is one of the simpler mushrooms that I've worked on in recent days, and as such, I decided to keep her outfit relatively simple as well. I gave her a peplum skirt just to allude to the fact that the mushroom does have a wider cap and then narrows into the stem. The other thing I really like about this character is her skin tone. It definitely leans very green, but I also think it's natural enough to imply an olive undertone. And I would love to use this skin tone on another character in the future. As a final touch, I added this sort of speckling, freckling onto her dress because I noticed the color variation in the mushroom is quite intense. So that is day 25, the green skinhead. Day 26 is the hawk's wing. Also known as the shingled hedgehog or the scaly hedgehog, the hawk's wing is a species of tooth fungus. This means that instead of having gills on the underside that produce and disperse spores, there are gray, brittle teeth. These teeth are always pointed directly perpendicular to the earth and are tapered, allowing the spores produced on their surface to fall to the ground. This funnel-shaped fungus grows in clusters in mountainous areas throughout North America and Europe. These mushrooms can also form fairy rings. The surface of the hawk's wing is covered in coarse, dark brown scales that become darker and upturn with age. This is an edible fungus, but the taste is pretty contentious. Some people find it incredibly bitter, but others think it's absolutely delicious. Edibility is considered best in younger specimens. There are also no known poisonous lookalikes. The hawkswing has also been used as a source of pigments. It contains a blue-green pigment that is often used to dye wool in Norway. So for my design of this character, I think it's pretty obvious that I had to give her wings of some kind. I wanted to lean a little bit into the sort of barbarian aesthetic with her design, so I used a lot of inspiration from designs of barbarians that I was seeing on Pinterest, but instead of fur, which I was seeing quite a lot, I replaced it with feathers. I also decided to represent the toothed underside of this fungus with a tooth necklace around her neck, which somewhat inspired that barbarian idea. Most of the time in this illustration was put towards the wings. I really wanted them to look good and semi-accurate to hawk's wings. I think I did a good job, but definitely let me know what you think. I would also like to give a huge happy shout out to Dark Creative Chaos. They were with me the whole time I was streaming on Twitch. They had wonderful suggestions. They were very supportive. I loved talking to them, and they actually gave this girl a name. So her name is Smokey. Thank you again so much to Dark Creative Chaos. So that is day 26, Hawk's Wing. Day 27 is the Tremella. The Tremella has several common names, like snow fungus, white jelly mushroom, and white cloud ears. It is a white, frond-like gelatinous basidiocarp that grows on dead branches of broadleaf trees in the tropics. It can be found in the Americas, Africa, Asia, and Australia. This fungus is actually a parasitic yeast. It grows as a slimy film until it encounters its preferred host. Then, the mycelium begins to penetrate the surface. The Tremella is not only edible, but also used as a key ingredient in beauty products in Asia. In Chinese culture, Tremella is used in sweet dishes, and while the mushroom is relatively tasteless, it's valued for its gelatinous texture and medicinal benefits. They have a spicy odor that dissipates while cooking and are chewy and supple. In China, Korea, and Japan, Tremella extract is used in anti-aging beauty products. The fungus increases moisture retention in the skin and reduces wrinkles and fine lines. I had to make a hard decision with this character because this mushroom grows in the tropics, but it looks so much like snow and it's referred to as like a snow fungus, so I decided to give her a bit more of a winter outfit. I decided the best place to incorporate the Tremella is like this big woolly fleece-like petticoat under her coat, and also at the tops of her boots. I thought about also doing it on the fur that's surrounding her face, but I got through the first two rounds of drawing and coloring the Tremella and decided against it. This fungus was a bit difficult to pull colors from because it's transparent, like translucent. So a lot of the colors that I was actually picking up were from the environment behind it. So instead of pulling a lot of colors from the image directly, I decided to pick one color off of the image and then build a color palette upon that. So I picked up this bluish color and then built the color palette from there. The details on her dress and boots are relatively simple, but I think that's because there's enough sort of detail and texture in her coat to make up for that. I've also done this technique with the fur on her hood for another illustration, the ivory funnel, and I think it looks okay. It creates sort of a natural fur pattern and fur texture. So that is day 27, Tremella. The final day of Funguary, day 28, is the velvet shank. The velvet shank gets its name from the pleasant velvety texture at the base of its reddish-brown stem. These mushrooms grow in clusters on decaying trees across Europe and North America. The velvet shank is very unique because it primarily fruits in winter when cold weather usually deters other edible fungi from growing. As stated, these mushrooms are edible, though the stems are quite tough, so most people only consume the caps. They have a sweet, mealy flavor and are used in soups or risotto. This fungus also shows some promising anti-cancer properties. In Japan, these mushrooms are grown commercially, but they look extremely different from the wild versions. This version of the mushroom is called enokitake. It's straight and long with tender stems and smaller caps. It's also pale white in comparison to the wild mushroom's vibrant orange. These changes occurs because the enokitake is grown in compact sawdust in the dark, as opposed to the velvet shank growing on dead trees in sunny patches. So for this illustration, I decided to draw the wild version of the mushroom just because I thought that that was a more interesting color palette with this bright orange, but part of me kind of wishes I had done something to show the nature of the enokitake, that it gets grown in Japan. I do have that sort of regret with this illustration. But again, I love the color palette so much. Working with these oranges was a blast. I think the placement of the mushrooms on this illustration is pretty unique compared to my other ones. I do try to incorporate the mushroom whenever I can in the illustrations that I'm creating, or at least the shape or the silhouette of the mushroom, but actually just having them grow on her as if she's the tree, I just thought that the overlapping stacks of mushrooms were they were too beautiful to give up, so. I also wanted to allude a little bit to the fact that she's sort of a colder weather girl, so she has a full-length dress and long sleeves, but she's not quite as cold as our Tremella girl. So that is day 28, Velvet Shank. And with that, Funguary is done. I would like to remind you that stickers are available in my Redbubble shop through the link in the description below. If you'd like to buy one, send me a picture on Instagram. I would love to see if you got a Funguary sticker. Thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you so much for watching all of my other Funguary videos. This was a very fun and very difficult challenge to keep up with drawing all of these lovely ladies. If you like this video, be sure to like it, and if you want to see more, please subscribe to my channel. I'm almost at 100 subs, so I'm very excited for that. Follow me on all my social media to keep up with what I'm working on next. I am AfterPlague on TikTok, Twitch, and Instagram, and I am after_plague on Twitter. I hope to see you back for next week's video, and I hope you survive this post-plague world.